Okay, this is the P1 paper from June 2024. It's question number 2, and this is an indices question from index laws question, indices from chapter 1, algebraic expressions. Let's have a look at these. They tend to focus a lot in the exam on either 2 to the power of n or 3 to the power of n. So make sure you've gone through and done all your past papers. Very different from some of the questions that we get in the book. But if you get these sorted out, they're a good source of marks in the exam. So it says, given that m is equal to 2 to the n, can we express 2 to the n plus 3 in terms of 2 to the n? Can we express 16 3 to the n in terms of 2 to the n? So we can, with all of these, if we just understand that our index laws give us, so hang on, we've got 2 to the n plus 3. So what I want to have is 2 to the n. I want to try and get 2 to the n, and I can absolutely do that. This one is 2 to the n multiplied by 2 to 3. It's going backwards with our indices laws in that if we multiply together, we add the powers. So that's what I'm doing here. Multiplying those two together would be to add the powers. I'm in effect doing the opposite of that. But now I've got my 2 to the n bit that I wanted. So what have I got left here? I've got 2 to the n multiplied by 8. Well, I'm just going to call that 8 2 to the n. Because of the way the question wants it for me, then the question says, yeah, but m is equal to 2 to the n. So we actually end up with a m there as my answer, because it said, can we give it in terms of m, which I have done for part A. Part B, then slightly more difficult, but following through from the same idea. We've got 16 3 to the n. So before I do anything, I need to take 16 and make that into powers of 2. We want everything in this question in powers of 2. So 16 is actually 2 to the power of 4. 3 to the n. Now either you know that or you just do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 till we get up to 16. It's 2 to the power of 4 there. And then again, we're using our index laws now. 2 to the 4 times 3n, or to the power of 3n, we can multiply the powers. So we can get 2 to the 12n there. I've just multiplied those two powers together. And then remember what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get it in terms of 2 to the n's. So I can almost do the opposite of what I've just done there and say, well, let's take the n out and call it that. Why would I do that? Because I'm trying to get 2 to the n. I had 2 to the n up there and 2 to the n up there. So I'm trying to get a 2 to the n in my answer. Why am I doing that? Because then I can replace 2 to the n with m there. So I end up with my second answer. There's quite a few of these style of questions on the channel, so go back and look at all of them, see if you can get a bit of a feel for them. They're not dead straightforward, but yeah, as I said to you right at the start, if you get the idea behind these, they're good ways of getting marks. So even if you can't do that, look, it's still good standard exam practice. Part 2 is a completely different question, so don't panic about part 1 and say, okay, let's see if I can get the next 3 marks then. And the next 3 marks solve the equation x root 3 minus 3 is equal to x plus 3, plus root 3 here. Give your answer in the form p plus q root 3. But what are they saying here? All they're saying for this second part is I'm just going to use my normal laws of algebra. What have I got? I've got a very nice equation here. I've got x root 3 minus 3 is equal to x plus root 3. But if you had 2x is, let's make it similar, 2x minus 3 equals x plus 5 here, what would you do? You'd collect all the x's onto one side, you collect all the numbers onto the other side to get our answer. So that's what we're going to do here. Even though they've made it slightly more difficult in terms of the values that we're using, I'm going to say this is x root 3 minus 3 minus x is equal to root 3. So I'm going really slowly here. And then I'm going to say, now take that one over to the other side. I'm going to have x root 3 minus x is equal to root 3 plus 3 there. And the whole point about doing that is I can then, on this left-hand side, factorize and take x out as a factor. And if I do that, I get that. And so then x is going to be equal to root 3 plus 3 all over root 3 minus 1. And then if we go back, we haven't finished yet, if we go back to the question now, it says I've got to write it in that format. So that's reminding us that when we do our Surds work, we have to what's called rationalize the denominator. We can't leave the root 3 minus 1 on the bottom there. Hopefully you remember this. We're going to be doing root 3 plus 1 there, and you can't just multiply the denominator. So if I multiply numerator and denominator there, I'm timesing by 1, so I haven't changed it, so that's okay to do. Why would I do that then? Because on the top now, I've got this times this, this times this, this times this, this times this. Whichever way round you do those, I'm not going to spend any time multiplying out two brackets. If I do it, I get 3 plus 3 root 3 plus root 3 plus 3 all over. Now you could do the same thing again here, 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 and here, but actually I'm going to take a shortcut that I would expect the better students to be able to do here, which is to say the whole point about doing this multiplication is that what we're going to get when we multiply these out is that we will get a minus root 3 from those and a plus root 3 from those, and they're going to cancel. So because of that, I'm not going to double up on the work and do the same thing again. I'm just going to say this is going to work out to be root 3 times root 3, which is 3. Those other two in the middle will cancel out, so I've just got minus 1 for my second part. Now, if that's too much for you, then just go and do it slowly. Go and do it slowly and you'll still end up with that. But I wanted to save myself a little bit of time here. Looking at the top then, I've got 6 and I've got 4 root 3. At the denominator, I've got 2, and that doesn't surprise me then. They took a chance to actually be able to have something where it would cancel down. So I get 3 plus 2 root 3. And if I go back to that, oh, right, that makes me feel pretty good that I probably got the answer right because it's in the right sort of format there. Okay, not easy for a question number 2 on a paper, but yeah, we have to be able to do those. Go back and check other questions if you're not sure. Hopefully that all makes sense to everybody.